Hello and welcome to another 284 Media feature interview. I'm your host, Jhaka, and today we are talking about the inaugural Caribbean Content Creators and Influencers Summit set to take place this October over in Guyana. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
As the winds start to whisper of approaching storms, it's time to safeguard your sanctuary.
Hey, have you checked your insurance policy lately?
Not recently. Why?
It's very important to check your insurance policy before the hurricane season.
That's a good idea. I'll reach out to my provider and get some information.
Awesome. Come, son, let's plan for emergencies together. We're gonna include your favorite comfort kit.
Thanks, Dad. That makes me feel safer.
We're packing extra medications and extra batteries for your hearing aid.
And by the way, don't forget my glasses.
Okay, Pops.
Alright, let me see. Okay.
Going on, dog? What you say? You good? You got truck? Hey, yo, how you doing? I hear trimming some of the branches to make sure they don't cause a frig when the storm come.
Fair point. I gotta go clean out the gutter them down by me so nothing don't build up. You know how that could go, so.
Makes sense. That's all good. We got prepared.
Facts.
Sometimes we get off track, but that's okay.
Yo, thanks for chilling with the dog today, you know.
Man, anytime, you know I got you.
Yeah, but the place so damn hot now. And you know the old people, them say when it's so hot, a storm somewhere out there coming.
Listen, I rebuke that in the name of great God of the universe, okay? Let me move these stuff so they don't cause a problem.
Alright, me and my neighbor window get knocked out at all, son.
Remember, we're in this together. Reach out to your community, lend a hand, and shield each other from the storm's challenges. A message from the Department of Disaster Management and 284 Media.
Orange alert! Orange alert!
Fire is spreading across the BVI. The fastest, most reliable, and affordable fiber internet service is here for you. Look out for fire in these new locations: Slaney, Duff Bottom, Manual Reef, Steakhouse Bay, Albion, Hannah's, Palestina, Pleasant Valley, and Havers. Fiber is in your area. Call 444-4444 or visit a CCT store to find out more and bring it home. More locations coming soon.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Right now, joining me all the way from Guyana, I have Jamicia McCalman-Nelson, the creator of this event. Jamicia, thank you so much for making the time to be with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure.
All right. Now, what an interesting event on the horizon, the Caribbean Content Creators and Influencers Summit. I think it's something that has been wanted for a while, but maybe nobody took the initiative to make it happen. Tell me, what was the force behind this idea and what you hope to achieve with this event?
I think what really sparked my interest in creating the summit or creating this space, I observed for a really long time that on social media, it is immensely populated with Caribbean voices, Caribbean faces, Caribbean stories. However, for a really long time, we have not been benefiting from social media the way that we should. Now, when you talk about the content creators and influencers industry, it is one that is expected to grow by $43 billion by 2032. And I know for many persons that might sound like a long time, but it's just about eight years out. And so when we talk about $1 billion industry, you must ask, where is the Caribbean in all of this? And as I mentioned just now, we have not been benefiting from it the way in which we should. especially in the area of monetization. A very unfortunate fact is that Jamaica is one of the few Caribbean countries who currently benefit from monetization. Now, when you look at the voices and the faces of Caribbean persons, they have millions of followers, some hundreds of thousands of followers, but how do we benefit from it? Also, I think it's important to note that no longer in this digital economy are the jobs just the basic 9 to 5 of doctor, lawyers, teachers, and so forth. Your job, the industry is so powerful that it creates provisions for persons to make it their 9 to 5. And I think no one has been having the conversation about the limited infrastructure that's in place to cause that shift to ensure Caribbean persons can benefit from it in the way that we should. And I believe that this summit will serve as a catalyst in driving that change that is necessary.
Now, that's an awesome mission. I think a lot of the time when we speak about social media, it could be difficult to transcend the conversation on the opportunities available through different generations. So I'm really hoping that something the summit addresses is the view of policymakers in the Caribbean towards supporting the youth in these endeavors. Now, tell me a bit about what things have been like. I know you did have the launch, I think it was in July. What was that like? How has the energy been with the event coming up? And what has the response been from the corporate community? Are you seeing the support you need?
The response has been immaculate from the persons who are in the industry and persons who are not in the industry, persons who have a passion to be in it. You know, since last year, I sort of gave a teaser that it was coming. And many of the comments that we heard was, you know, this is very much needed, as you mentioned earlier, but also there are persons who, for a really long time, they have been wanting to get into the industry, but they don't know how to start. And this summit has really made them even more excited to get up and to start doing what it is that they've been wanting to do for a really long time. And so it is my desire that at the end of this summit, we see new faces taking up space on these different digital platforms. The support from corporate, it has been interesting, to say the least. We have also received support from government as well, which I think is important when you have those different entities who see the importance of digital transformation within the Caribbean and also the power of social media, because I think it's important for us to understand that social media is really more than just jokes and the drama. There is so much power that it has, and we have to know how to use that to our advantage. But of course, we are still welcoming, our doors are still open to continuously welcome sponsors or partners to be part of this. I often say that this is not a project for Jamicia, it's not a project for Guyana, but it's truly a project that will benefit the Caribbean by extension. And so we are really seeking buy-in from the Caribbean, not just countries here, or not just entities and companies here in Guyana.
Amazing. Now, what is a content creator or what is an influencer? Because I feel like a lot of the time when people think of these titles, they think of these perfect people who get these PR packages sent to their houses, who get these millions of views on TikTok, who live these perfect lives. Tell me a bit about what you believe a content creator is and how people can really get into that industry.
I think for me, a content creator is someone who uses whatever skills, whatever talents, their way of telling stories to transcend to other communities. I was talking with someone last evening, and I was saying that, there are persons who do have their 9 to 5, whether it's as a doctor, and they're concerned about, how can I get into this industry? Where's my niche? How do I stand out? And I was saying to them that your lifestyle as a doctor, you can use that to show persons a day in the life of a doctor, a day in the life of a lawyer, and you develop your platform from there. And whether you want to transition after and diversify your content, that's important. But I believe that as a content creator, our goal is really storytelling and using that in a creative way. And as an influencer, it is now our duty to influence persons to, I want to say, drive change within our communities, within respective various industries, whether it's the beauty industry, the fashion industry. It is showing persons, it is sort of using our influence, in short, to drive change or to promote a product, a service, or whatnot, but also to drive, I think, especially now and after the COVID-19, you saw the power of influencer marketing in terms of driving sales and keeping companies afloat. And so it is a vast difference. And I think it's important for persons to understand the difference between the two, as you rightfully say. You do not just start as an influencer. I have seen many content creators transition into being an influencer. And if it is that you don't want to be an influencer, that is fine. You can continue to just be a content creator, but they're not one and the same. And I think persons have to understand that, but also know, I must say, that with being an influencer, it comes with a responsibility. And I think responsible influencer or influencing is a conversation that we also need to have.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of the time, while being in the media industry myself, there's usually a tense relationship in the conversations on traditional media versus, social media. In the advertising industry, of course, companies only have so many advertising dollars to split between these different areas. Do you think there's enough room in the Caribbean right now to really balance traditional media and the new opportunities on social media so that, everybody can have some bread to eat at the end of the day?
Oh, definitely there is. I think with the digital advancement, it is important that the Caribbean is not left behind. And I believe that content creators and influencers play an integral role in this here. Even one of our objectives is to ensure that companies now begin to understand how they can incorporate content creators and influencers within their marketing strategy. Because when you look at it, a lot of us are on social media because the world is moving so fast. Some of us don't have time to pick up a newspaper or to turn on the television. But we also have to ensure that as we continue to elevate, that digital literacy is part of the conversation, because we cannot leave our seniors behind. We cannot fully transition to just digital media and offering our services digitally. Especially as you spoke of it within the traditional media, there are persons within far-fetched communities who do not have access to phones, to internet service. And so you cannot isolate those persons from the conversation of what is happening. So I think we need to strike a balance as we continue to elevate the digital industry. We also must not neglect those who do not have access to digital services.
Very, very well put, and a very important message. Now, of course, for people who are interested in being a part of the summit or learning more about it, give us the details of the event and how we could connect on social media.
So the summit will be from October 4th and 5th, 2024. And we've been using the hashtag Come for the Summit, Stay for the Cricket, because it will also be CPL weekend. And for more information, persons can visit our website at ccCIsummit.com. That is ccCIsummit.com. Or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at ccci.summit on Instagram, or on Facebook at Caribbean Content Creators and Influencers Summit.
Awesome. And I noticed that tickets are already available. I think it was on Eventbrite online. For people who are interested in attending, how can they access tickets at this time?
Yes, as you rightfully said, for persons within the region who wish to attend and get their tickets in advance, we have early bird tickets on Eventbrite that cost $50, and that will run up until September 3rd. And of course, in Guyana, we have physical ticket locations such as Scotty's Smokehouse and Pressy's Gift Store.
All right. Well, thank you so much for making the time to be with us here today. And we do hope to hear from you again as the event nears to hear how things are going. You still have about a month, just over a month in preparation. So I really do hope you have a positive experience with this inaugural event. And I'm wishing you and your team the best.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me again.
And viewers, thank you for joining us today for this interview. Stay tuned to 284 Media for more great content.